Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for clicking on the second video. Okay, so basically in my first video I was talking all about the orbs and how they're trying to get my attention for something. Looking into it, I was thinking it was either dust, spirits, or angels. At this point I had kind of configured that it wasn't dust, something was getting my attention, and to this day I'm a believer that it was my angels around me trying to get my attention. Okay, so I'm in this whole phase. I'm kind of freaking out a little bit because now what's happening is I'm starting to have dreams. And these dreams were a little crazy. It first started off as the dream that I had was I'm walking down my street, and this is real life. On my street, there was a woman who used to be my aunt's best friend at the time, and she ended up passing away of lung cancer. So okay, in this dream now, I'm walking down the street and I'm kind of like singing. Like I'm singing, God is good, I believe in Him, and I wasn't afraid. So I'm walking down to this house, and when I look up at the house, there's a woman, and she's at the window. And the next thing I know, I'm in the house. Now, I've never been in this lady's house before in real life, so I don't know anything about it. And I'm in the house, and I remember I'm looking into a mirror, and this woman is calling my name. And the next thing, like I got really scared because I was frightened. And I'm sitting all of a sudden in her living room, and she's across from me, and she says to me, I need to tell you a story. And in the dream, I see this little girl, and she just goes skipping by, just as nothing, skipping by. The next scene of the dream is I'm outside, and it looks like I'm standing in their backyard. And all I see is a man and a woman, and this man is literally beating this woman, just pummeling her in the corner. And I start getting very afraid. And next thing he does is he has an iron. I still don't know what this symbol means as the iron, like what you use to straighten out clothes and stuff. But he lifts up the iron and he's ready to put it to her face. And as I'm standing in this dream, I go, no! And all of a sudden, he turns around and he looks right at me, stops what he's doing, and he starts walking right towards me. And in that moment, as this man is walking towards me, I don't know who it was, what it was, but it was like a shadow of something had stepped right in front of me to like guard me and to block me. And the next thing I know, I wake up from this dream. And I start freaking out a little bit because it was just so weird. I never had a dream like that before. I never had a dream about that woman's house. And now the cool thing is I live on the same street as my sister. She lives 2 houses down from me. So I end up calling her. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning. And I'm telling her, Jen, I had a really crazy dream about, the lady's name was Gunda that used to live in the house. I said about Gunda's house, and I'm explaining the dream to her. And she's dead quiet on the other line. Now, if you watch my first video, my sister is a skeptic. She's very against weird things happening. She thinks that everything is just, it is what it is. She could care less. So as I'm telling her this, she says to me, when did you have this dream? And I said, I just had it. I said, I'm waking up. I'm calling you to, tell you that I'm weirded out by it. I need you to calm me down, like, whatever. And she says to me, she goes, that's so weird, that she was literally outside an hour before, and the neighbor who is between my house and Gunda's house was out walking his dog. And he stopped and he asked my sister if she heard what happened last night. And to make a long story short, I guess the people, well, after Gunda died, new tenants took over. And he said to her that the people that were living in the house, he said it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and he said he heard this little girl, and this little girl was screaming, Mommy, Mommy. And he looked out his window, and he sees the little girl's head at the top of the window, and in between on the driveway outside was the father beating up the mother in between the 2 cars that were parked on the driveway. And he ended up calling the cops. The cops came between, I guess, like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. And then within a couple days, this family had ended up moving out of the house. So guys, I have chills right now. I don't know if you could really see this, but it still kind of freaks me out a little bit. It's like somebody or something was telling me, I want to tell you the story. I want to show you what's happening. I felt like in this dream, I'm watching this woman get beat up, and then all of a sudden I'm there yelling no. Whoever the person, the shadow was that stood in front of me to block me, and then all of a sudden to find out the next morning that actually happened that night. That this guy beat his wife, and the little girl that I saw in my dream was the little girl yelling for her mom, like, and her dad to stop. I don't know. It was insane. So, okay, that was the first dream that I had that was coming true. And then after that, it was like little things in my dreams, and I started looking up like symbolization. They have like the dream journals and stuff. So little things were starting to actually like come true. I would dream of something, and then either the next day or the day after that, it was like happening. And another story real quick that about a dream that I had that was just random was somebody in the dream shows up at my house, and he's showing me the side of his leg, like as if something was wrong with his leg. I don't know if it was a scar or what it was, but he's pointing to it. And I'm looking at him, asking him if he wants help. And he tells me no. He says, I'm here to rob you. And the next thing I know, this guy's in my house. He's like grabbing all my stuff, and I'm crying hysterically. And he's trying to grab my phone and my camera, telling me that he's going to take all my pictures of everything that I have. So I end up waking up the next day. I'm a little weirded out by it. I go into my job. I worked as a teacher's assistant, and now the girl I normally work with, the teacher for the classroom, turns out that she was sick that day, and they had put in a substitute teacher. So as we're sitting there with the kids and they're doing their activities, I look over and I see that this substitute teacher has this mark on her leg. And instantly, as I'm looking at this mark, my dream is processing in my head. Like I've seen this before. It's weird. And I'm telling her then, I said, that's so weird. I just had a dream that, and then I explained the whole dream about this guy and, that he was trying to steal stuff from me. And she was like, oh yeah, she's like, that is a little weird. So I'm not even kidding you guys. It was about 10 to 15 minutes after that. Her cell phone in the closet, you hear the vibration. And it's going and it's going and it's going. So she ends up calling down to the office, asked for somebody to come in so she could go take this phone call, because I guess it was her husband or whatever that was calling her. Something was important. So basically she comes back in the room and she's just in amazement, because what ended up happening was her husband's car ended up getting vandalized. And they stole everything out of the car, and the number one thing that he was most upset about was his camera and his cell phone were stolen out of the car. It was crazy, because in my dream, here she is with the mark on her leg. All of a sudden, her husband loses, his cell phone and his camera to a thief. Now, it didn't match up because it was in my house, and I guess, for their situation, it was in his car. But either way, it was just something that really stuck out to me. So I'm starting to wonder now, what's going on. This is kind of cool. I wish I could figure out before it happened. So now it starts going a little bit more downhill from there. I start having dreams about my mom. And so this dream, the first one that really caught my attention was I'm sleeping and I hear somebody coming down my hallway. And in the dream, I hear somebody, and I go and I'm standing behind my bedroom door because I'm scared. And all of a sudden, the door comes flying open, and I see that it's my mom. And I'm going, Mom, what are you doing? Right away, she's trying to fight me in this dream. And I'm saying, Mom, it's me, it's Jessie, it's me. And it takes her a minute to grasp that that's me. And the next thing I know is I'm looking at the side of her back, and she has all demonic tattoos, and they're like charred and scorched on her body. Now, knowing my mom, like I said in my first video, when she was murdered, she suffered really bad from alcoholism. And, when she was sober, she was sunny and 72, and when she was drunk, it was a completely different story. So I know, purgatory, whatever, heaven and hell. I think that in this dream I was symbolizing that my mom is stuck in hell. So, okay, back to the dream. So we're sitting now on my bed and I'm looking at her, and this is the first dream I ever had that I'm actually talking to her, and I'm going, Mom, did it hurt? Are you okay? And she's telling me, yes, it did hurt, and I'm just asking her these questions, and then I look at her and I go, but you're dead, why are you here? And at that moment, she looks at me and she goes, well, I'm waiting for you, baby, and takes a knife and ends up shoving it in my side and my stomach, and I end up waking up from this dream in like a state of panic now. Because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, everything with the orbs and stuff that's going around me, like these dreams that are coming true, I'm like, what if my mom is stuck? What if purgatory is here on earth? What if she's trying to get my attention? Somebody's trying to get my attention. Something needs to be done. What's going on? So here is where my first sign from God comes into play. I call my Aunt Janie, which is my mom's twin sister, very religious woman, very spiritual. And I explained to her, Aunt Jane, I said, I'm freaking out. I tell her about the orbs that are showing up in my photos, how I'm dreaming of my mom. And she's telling me, relax, calm down, Jessie. She says, these orbs that are around you, she said, this is God's way of getting your attention, to let you know He's with you, like He's watching over you, He's all around you. She said, my advice to you is go to church and light a candle and say thank you to Him. All right, so here we go. I'm kind of pumped up now. I'm excited. I feel like God is trying to get my attention. My Aunt Janie says, go to church, light this candle, thank Him. Excuse me. So I end up going to the church. Now, let's not forget, I'd say about 21, 22 at the time. So as I'm driving to church, I'm jamming out. I have my CD playing, and get to church, turn my car off, go light the candle, say a little prayer. And I'm basically just saying to God that I'm kind of freaked out. But if this really is Him, thank you. Thank you for being around me. My whole life has just been crazy, but thank you. Thank you for being around me. So now, guys, this, no joke. I get out, I'm walking into my car, I go to start up my car. This has never, ever happened to me, and yet, until this day, it has never, ever reoccurred again. The CD that I was listening to ejected itself out of my CD player. I did not hit a button. I started the car and the CD ejected. And in this moment, the only lyrics that were on the radio were, keeping you safe like a child now, wherever you go. Boom, radio commercials. Radio commercials. After this, keeping you safe like a child now, wherever you go. Bang, radio commercials. As if, now that was a favorite song of mine. I love that song, and this is crazy because I'm sitting here now and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what a strong coincidence. And immediately I became so emotional. I start crying and I'm saying, God, thank you. Thank you for this moment of letting me know that this is you surrounding me. You are with me. You're keeping me safe like a child wherever I go. Because now I'm coming into adulthood. I don't know what my life is supposed to be, but you are with me and you're keeping me safe, that I should not fear. Okay, so now guys, video number 3 is coming up, and this is awesome. This is completely awesome. This is going to be my second sign from God that literally knocked me off my feet, literally made me cry for joy, because to this day and before this day, I've never seen anything like this in my life. Tell me your experiences, guys. I need to know. We need to get the word out that God is trying to get our attention. All right, so pop on to video 3 and come check out this sign because this is crazy.